Hi guys. So today I just want to kind of talk about my journey. It started 4 years ago. I found out I had cancer, colorectal cancer. And I went into this journey head on. I was doing chemo and radiation 5 days a week, and not once was ever told about parasites. And after that year, I found out I still had cancer. So then, of course, I had to do the colorectal surgery. And I received the colonoscopy bag that I have to wear the rest of my life. And so that's really, when I was in the hospital then, is when everything started for me. When I went into that surgery, my surgery was 12 hours long. It was supposed to only be 3. During that time, I passed away. And I came back a different person, and for a purpose, and a push, and a pull, and to go into my spiritual awakening, to fight back, to do all my shadow work, and sit with everything, feel everything, and then understand it, and then walk into the light. I turned all my darkness, into the light. And I used my alchemy doing that. And it wasn't easy sitting with that pain. And especially doing it alone. You're supposed to do this alone. And, you're not supposed to put all your stuff out there, guys. You heal in silence. And it's a big deal when you do, because it really helps you sit with yourself to really feel what's going on and why. Why you feel this way about certain things. Why are you angry about certain things? And why are you jealous about this and jealous about that? Why are you telling lies? Why are you thieving? Why are you drinking? Why are you taking drugs? There's so many questions, and there's so much shadow work that you have to ask yourself, and you got to sit with that. And then you got to sit with all the things that you've ever done, in the past, while you were unhealed, but it all starts with forgiveness. So you have to forgive yourself. You don't have to forgive them, okay? You forgive yourself for ever putting up with anything, okay, for not knowing. But you're ready to know now, and that's how I started all this. I was ready, and I gave everything up to God. For me, okay? I didn't go to a church. I didn't go to anybody outside of myself. I went within. I stayed in solitude, and I stayed all by myself. And I went through these lessons, I worked on my boundaries. I got rid of all the people who left me for dead and didn't care about me, And it helped. It created peace. And it was the best feeling in the world, And then I worked on my fear. And that fear was not giving a crap what anybody feels or thinks about me, Because then you get an understanding and a clarity that everything that anyone puts towards you is a reflection of themselves. It has nothing to do with you, because we are mirrors. Everything we put out comes right back to us, Or we have an issue. Anything we put out is a mirror of ourselves, So if you have anger issues, you need to go within and find out why you got anger issues, Why you're so pissed off about stuff, or you're doing this or you're doing that. You work with all of that stuff. That is shadow work, and it's not easy, But you're also at the same time giving up and getting away from your past, You're getting rid of all the people who don't care about you and never did, And I learned on my journey, every one of them had 4 years to step up to the plate, and not one of them cared. I could have died, and they weren't there for me. So those aren't my people, And I had to leave them all behind. I wish them all the best. You forgive yourself for even putting yourself in that situation, that you were around people like that, you know, and you let them go. And that's what I did. And things just got better after that. So I had so much more peace, and then I could really dig in and work on myself. So I did the boundaries, you know, got rid of everyone. And then I worked on my fear, not caring. Not caring in the world what anybody thinks, feels about me, you know. This is my life, and this is what I'm doing. And so the next thing, you know, is your ego. And that goes with fear, you know. When you have an ego, it means that you care what people feel and think about you. And that will stop your growth. So if you give up on that ego, then you only think about yourself, okay? And you only work with yourself. So you just let all that go, and you have to give it to God. You have to have faith. You've got to have faith going into this. You have to give it all to God and let Him do this work and trust in the process. You know, more than you think. If you don't trust, you're not going anywhere. So you have to let go. And you have to have trust in this process. So then now, okay, so now we're at the ego. We got rid of the ego. Okay, so then I started learning my alchemy. Okay, alchemy was one of the best things I was ever taught by God. And what it is you know, you will learn how to use your anger, you know, with your anger issues. Your reaction to anything, you know, that's what you got to work on. So with your alchemy, it helps you. So when you're mad, the first thing you need to understand is you're mad. And that's hard because you can't even stop yourself at first, you know. You can't even acknowledge it because you're just mad, you know. But then you start realizing, once you tapped in and you're trying to work on yourself, you try to stop that. And you get better each time, okay? Practice makes perfect. So in this process, when you do get mad, when you are actually able to understand that you're getting mad, breathe. Breathe. And breathe again, okay? Deep, deep breaths, okay? In and out. And then turn the music up. Turn that music up. That music will change your whole life around. It will flip the switch on it all, okay? And then use your alchemy by creating something. Always find something that you are talented at. This could be, you know, while you're mad. You know, this is how you get rid of the anger. You're not supposed to keep anger within you. You're supposed to release it in a good way by making money or creating. So while you're mad, you're breathing, you're listening to your music, then you create. Okay, you paint something, you write something. Okay, you clean something. You cut the grass, you know, you go paint something, whatever you want to do. You know, create a song, draw something. I don't know, whatever you're good at. Create jewelry, you know. Do some leather work, you know. Like me, I like to create driftwood lamps. So when I get upset, well, I don't anymore. During this process of learning, I was turning that pain into power. I was taking that pain and creating a driftwood lamp, and it turned out beautiful. And that's great, man. You see what kind of talent you have when you're done, but that helps you with your pain, okay? It helps you with all that stuff, you know, mental. You know how to work on yourself. You know how to calm yourself down. You know how to get through it, and you make money doing it, you know? So don't ever get mad for free. That's one thing I was taught, you know, from the Holy Spirit. Never get mad for free. So anyway, you know, and then it's self-love, your next lesson. And that's loving yourself. I mean, ultimately just you, and dive deep into you and your soul and breaking the ancestral bloodline curses. So, and that could be anything in your family, like alcoholism, narcissism, you know, it could be rape, it could be sexual abuse, you know, it could be drug abuse, it could be anything in your family that you have to stop. You are a curse breaker, and I am a curse breaker. This is why we're here. We are to break all these curses. So I went in and I broke him, you know. I had alcoholism, drug abuse, I had sexual abuse, mental and physical abuse. You know, I was molested and raped. You know, there's a lot of stuff I went through and challenged, and I had to step up, you know. I had to speak my mind, you know, calmly and quietly, speaking my truths. And that's one of your last lessons, is speaking your truth. You know, you never stop learning, just let you know that. But speaking your truths is getting out there. You speak the truth about everything. Nobody can say nothing about you. None of your enemies, no one can, because they see you're working on yourself. You're being authentic, you know. So that moves in to authenticity, you know. When you are at your Christ consciousness, you are at 100% your authenticity and your truths, you know. You don't lie, you don't cheat, you know. You are authentic with yourself. You don't care what any people, think or feel, you know. You are within the Holy Spirit. And then once you hit that Christ consciousness, you know, you are at the 144 frequency, the same as Jesus. You receive your gifts for working so hard on yourself and breaking all them curses and doing all that shadow work. None of that stuff, you know, is easy to do. So God will bless you for doing it. And like I said 2 weeks ago, I was pushed, you know, to sell my car, you know. And I did that that was no problem, because I understood why he wanted me to do that, because my ex was messing with my car. So, got rid of that. And so then I was told to quit my job. And I did that immediately, no problem. But I also had to have the faith in God. Just leave it all up to God that something great was going to come in for me. You know, that's hard to do if you don't have faith. But at this time, I had nothing but faith. The Spirit has been there and given me everything I have needed this whole entire time. So I had the faith, and I had no problem letting go of everything that he asked me to do. Okay? And so yesterday, not only did I get the news that I'm cancer-free for 2 years, you know, and I should be after having a parasite cleanse and a metal cleanse. So that was a great day, and I got great news from my disability. I'm going to be taken care of, and I will not have any worries from here on out. You know, God provides for you, you know, and he wants me in a position to teach the spiritual school of magic, and this is where I'm going. And he doesn't want me to work hard. God doesn't want you to work hard, guys. He wants you to work hard on yourself. And then everything else he will give to you is a blessing. So I got my blessings, 2 of them yesterday. And so I'm just happy, man. Things are working out slowly. And you just got to do it all by faith, you know. And so, you know, and of course it's not exactly what I wanted. I think, you know, disability screwed me for, 2 years of pay. But I'm getting something that I'm happy with, you know, especially monthly. I am happy with. I won't have to do all this hard work anymore, you know. I can heal you guys, and that's where I'm going. So don't ever give up, guys. There's so much more out there. I want you to get inside of yourself and really feel all that. Heal yourself. Start with this, you know, the metal cleanse and the parasite cleanse. It all starts with cleaning that pineal gland out. That's where the Holy Spirit is, and the Holy Spirit can't come on this planet unless you open that pineal gland. Then it'll be here. It'll be here. And the more we do that, the more the Holy Spirit will be on this planet, and everything will create heaven on earth. This is how we do it. We'll be having self-sufficiency, you know. So this is where we're going, guys. And you know, it wasn't an easy journey. It was the hardest thing I had ever gone through in my whole entire life, mentally, physically, and spiritually. But, you know, and I even died. And I got psychic abilities. So now I'm a, spiritual psychic empath. You know, I was born empathic. And so Who would have thought in 4 years, I'd be teaching? I didn't. I didn't even know what the 144 is, And now here we are. I am the 144. I am in that frequency. I am one of the first. That's why we went through this, to teach you when the church started falling. And so I'm here to teach us. So let's all get together, throw your crosses out, get rid of that religion, because everything's within you guys. I love you, and don't give up, because I won't. I'm only starting. This is my new fresh start, and I'm so excited about it, So there's no stopping me, and I'm here to teach. So get ready, guys. Things are about to take a whole big change for everyone. And so I'm ready for my blessings, and I'm ready for the new position that Holy Spirit is about to put me in, whatever that might be. I gave it all to Him, so I leave it up to the Spirit. So let's watch the Spirit work through me, because it's already working through me, And you just got to have faith. I love you guys, and have a great day.